Welcome back to Timberborn Update 7. My name is Nilaus and I'm here back again with our mini-series. This mini-series is sort of focusing on different eras or ages in Timberborn, and I've logically split it into first the wooden era, then the metal era, that's what we're going to do today, then the Badwater era, then the terraforming, the robot, and finally the happiness era, which will at the end give us a full complement of little beavers that are maximally happy. So, what are we going to do in this metal phase? Well, the metal phase is where we are, where we are right now, and where we go get the scrap metal. So we need to get scrap metal in order to get the metal plates. We get the metal plates, they unlock a lot of things. Most importantly, actually, it will help us unlock the number cruncher, because that will help us unlock everything else. But the number cruncher requires a lot of power, so we also need to unlock the large water wheel. So but today it's going to be very much about power, very much about sort of integrating it and getting the smelters up and running. So the first thing we want to do is we want to start collecting some things out here. And I think that something like this is a good location. And then we have to start unlocking these things. And that's 250 just for a simple little flag here. That's expensive. And that gets put into a big storage for that scrap. Good, so that's done. Then we wanted to see the smelter here. That's 300. We can't do that yet. But what we can do is we can unlock some power. We're going to unlock this one, and then we're going to be taking a look at it. So I want this to be like here, which is 5, and then that's another 5, and then that's another 5. So this is the big idea. In order for us to do that, we have to build something. We have to cover this area here, and that has to be too high, and then it's going to be over on this side like this, and the same height back again, which will also be closed off there. We'll definitely need to get inbound here, and then we need to place the wooden bricks here. Oh my god, they're already building it. I can't cope with that right now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, not like that. It's always something. There. It was actually perfect before. Oh, it was perfect, so it was just misplaced. There, and here. And then on the other side. Sweet. And that should be possible. Then we of course need to collect it here and then hook it up to some power lines. What we also want to do for the power lines is that one is now set up so that we can get a upbound here. Let's see, which way does it turn? That one. Turn it up, and then I can turn it over like this, and then we get a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff here. Go that way, because, and this is one of the things that is absolutely fundamental in this game, you only have one power grid. Don't ever do anything that has more than one power grid. That's just bad. Very simple. And this will now need to go, you know, I think you need to go, and then I want to make a path here, because then it can go underneath, and I like that. And then this will actually need connection that way and connection that way. Funny how that is built. We don't need that. There. These do not need to be like that. They don't need to be solid. They can be but they kind of need to be solid over here, because I don't want the water in this area, basically. Right, well, maybe I do, because maybe I do want water because it helps irrigation. I don't know. We'll find out. And that one. And then we can put some power lines so that these get connected here, here, and here. And then they get connected in between. And then from here, they need to go up. Like that. And then again, get that over. And then we drag the whole thing, the power lines. Every time there's an intersection, we do it like this. That way. It's so nice with these lifts. So much nicer than what was there before. And you're also going to be turning that. And over, and over to this one. I'm going to say every time there's a intersection, we want to have these 4 ways. Good. There we go. That is the first thing we want to build. This might take a while. So we'll also unlock some smelters once we're done, because the smelters will then be built over here, which will then be serviced by this power line. So it's going to take a while for us to build it. But let's also just not build all of it at once, because we don't need to build these just yet. But we do want to build all the other things. We just survived another drought, and it has taken a while to build this, but now we build a little canal here. Whoops! And just like that, it dries out. Just as the new water is coming in. That was actually perfect timing. Yeah, okay, maybe we could have just handled it a little bit better, but whatever. Water is coming in now. It's coming in at a nice flooding speed. And I will also be deleting this part and this part. There. Great. Did that get deleted? No. All right, so what we have now is we have now a lot of power. Look at that. Plenty of power. So we are continuing to make the next two and then the last two afterwards. So these are getting built. Then we can go over, and now the next one we want is here, the number cruncher. That is expensive, and we want another one, and we want another one. And yeah, these might just be not right now, but if we at least get one number cruncher, that is as valuable as 10 of these, and the 10 of these would take 10 beavers to operate, but this takes 0 beavers to operate. So that's pretty good. Then it's time for us to build a smelter, and they just happen to be built right there, and maybe one of them will be paused as well. We do need this one first, so we can take these two. And then I have also prepared a location, metal blocks, operated by that. So we do have power now, that's great. And as we get more power, I will also replace this one here with another 2 of those, because that's just way better. Right, so once we get the first plate, let's have a look. And what we really want the plates to be doing is, tunnels. That's not it. But we want an explosive factory, which is 400, and we want explosives 600 and 900, which also means we need Badwater for the explosives. And that means we need to farm, or sort of, get some Badwater over here. I'm kind of thinking that I might be doing something stupid here, because eventually when the Badwater comes in, the first round of Badwater will come in here, flood, and I don't want it flooding through. I want it to flood that way, which means that if I start building something over on this one in ground level, then it'll be flooded with Badwater, and that's not great, because eventually we'll be making like a barrier basically like this. I don't even want to build it now, but I guess that's kind of just to illustrate that this will sort of keep it out. So anything outside of this will have to be built below, or safe from that. And that's a little bit of a tricky thing. I could also bring it over here, and then I would only have to sort of keep it up. All right, we'll find out how this is going to be done, and this will also just be anytime we have a little bit of wood crap there, then we'll just delete it. Yeah, okay, so this would require water. We'd really like to get some water here, but we can't get water in without either exploding it or sort of blocking that one off. Either way, this one would be a very nice reservoir to get. But again, we want to get some number crunchers going. Once the number cruncher is going, oh, it's not gonna work. Oh, this is horrible, because now you will not be powered, because I can't build that before I get the metal blocks. Oh crap. Now we have the first number cruncher up and running, and that just generates a ton of points, at least comparatively, and that means we should actually shut down every single one of these. We don't want them to ever work again. We'll remove them later on, but that just gives these, we have 50 and we can get 50. With 5 of these, that looks around the right number. We are working on the next number cruncher. We're working on these 2 as well. And then over here, I'm going to make that. But why? Well, not why, but what are we going to use this one for? Well, a number of things. So let's see. What is it we want? We want to go here and make some explosives there. So we need an explosive factory. An explosive factory. That's please don't explode my factory. And we'll build them here and here, because why not, indeed. And then also get a storage of explosives. Yeah, you kind of need a bigger explosive storage like this. Or can we do the bigger one? No. Or can we? I don't want to use 80 of those yet, so we'll just do this one and then just make it a little bit simpler, and then that one goes in here, here, yeah, because we want 2 of these. That one will be explosives, and this one will be more explosives. We want a lot of explosives, but explosives require extract. No, bad water, not extract, but bad water. So we do need to get some bad water, which means we need a bad water pump. That's another 250. So you can see we're burning through our points here pretty damn quickly. And let's do that here. Flip 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4, but let's do 2 first. That one here. And then let's also get a storage box for this. That's going to be a big storage box of that. And again, flip it like that. This will be a big storage box of bad water like that. That should be fine. I also made this barricade, which apparently has started to be worked on. That's not what I intended. I wanted this one here. This is a neat little trick. You can make a small industrial pile and then put lumber in it. That means the haulers will go over here and fill this up, and then the builders will go from here and in here. So it's going to be much, much quicker to go through it. And we want to do more because we have 29 metal plates, and we're not really using a lot of metal plates right now. So we're going to go over here and then say, this one, the beaver statue, is cost 20, and it has a 3 range. And then the way that I've designed it is there is one space in here between. There's also a space below, but this is actually covering every single door in and out. Oh, where is it? There. Every single door. So that will actually be able to support everything, and that gives us some aesthetic beaver statue in this area. And that's good. So this one will make explosives a little bit, and we get storage, we get the beaver statue, and we got the bad water extract. Just as things are working now, we have all 6 water wheels going. It's very nice. Then we hit another drought, and that means it's going to be all for naught. But we also have the first explosives, so let's celebrate that by exploding something. Funny, we have to research each of these independently, but at least we have 4,000. So this is actually the one that I prioritized the highest, because that is blocking us from completing the housing project that we're working on here. We also need a little bit more of this, that one, and you can also be on top. And once this is done, and there, then we can also put some roofs on. Where is that? That's aesthetic. That's here. We can put, oops, that one. Put that here. And once this is exploded, boom, we can build that house here. Now, in the beginning, I said, oh, we will replace this house with something else later on. Like, if we're being honest, this housing here can take 10, 20, so it's 60, 120 in total. We're not going to be needing more than 120 beavers in this space. So that will, this means that everything will actually be just fine, actually perfect. And we should also get this one soon, and we can also just find out there's one more thing that's also like the same range. Beaver bust, that's 2 tiles, this one is 3 tiles. So beaver bust is 2 tiles. That's a little bit more annoying. And there was one more, the brazier is also 2 tiles. So those need to be set downstairs, and then they can work, or maybe they can easily be set up here. I can't remember where they'll be set up as well to get some more happiness. But now we have another problem, and that is we don't have any power during the break here. And what I want to do is I want this area to be my my build for engines. I want a ton of engines here, but that's gonna be a little bit problematic, because that would require us to start exploding away, which is a little bit ambitious for where we are right now, just to explode this this entire thing. But hey, I get carried away. There we go. So we just get this for explosives. Then I will need to figure out how to get my power over there. Also, this is interesting, because that's actually the next thing we want to do. And let's see, are these almost done? No, not at all. Not at all. So we'll have to take those out. Let's take these out. And not that one. We don't need to spend time on this. And let's get that prioritized. So why are we doing this part? This is the most valuable place, basically, because it's right next to the housing, right next to the food. So we want things to come back and forth here. And what do we want here? We want to make the tubeway station. All right, that's a big, big, big step forward. And it's also a little bit expensive because that's going to be using a lot of iron there. So this one, what will happen is that we need to get the tubeway. That's another 500. You can see why we wanted the number cruncher. And we also need the solid tubeway. This is one that can be stacked. And then we need to make the solid tubeways there. They find out how they want to build themselves. And then you can go this way. Here. That way. And then we can actually start making the pathway here and here. And then that's going to be a solid one because it goes one up and then it goes over here. So this is how we are going to be building the tubeways everywhere. They can actually build the tubeways from inside. So they can actually go up here. Like for example, this one would be too far away for reach from the ground level, but they can actually reach it by going into the tube and then build the next one. So it's going to take forever. But what I want to do is I want to start making up here. This would be one location. And we also want to sort of bring everything to this one. So basically we get it up here. And then from here we sort of use this grid. And then on top of this this power grid. And then we can maybe have a drop-off point here. Maybe drop-off point somewhere else. We can just make overhangs and make the drop-offs with that as well. But that's a big step forward for us. And we are now in a drought, and these two have been emptied. That's great. Then the reason why I wanted this empty was because I want this to be a bigger storage here, there, and that's going to be a water storage, that one. And I think I want to tap these two out because we do have enough water to last the next 2.4 days, but I don't want to use all the water we have in this reservoir. Next thing we want to make is actually over here. That is a gate. We'll do a triple floodgate, that one. And that will be built. Come on, triple floodgate. Triple floodgate. It has to be a sluice, actually. Shouldn't I just make the sluice? Isn't sluice better? I think the sluice is what I really want to have. So let's sluice it up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4 sluices. And then we just make stuff on top. Because these can also be controlled to turn off when there's a... You can turn them on and off like you do with the normal... you can turn them on and off like you're doing the gates. But you can also use them to sort of automatically turn off when either the flow is too high or when there's too much bad water. Which is really neat. But what I wanted to do is I want to redirect it when the flood comes in. Then we want to get water in here. But then at some point we also want to fill up this basin here. That would be nice. All right, things are progressing. We're making this tunnel or the tubeway slowly moving it up here so we can get up there. The reason why we want to go up here is because that's going to be a much better place to get water. And we are also blocking this one off. So what if I synchronize with one that's adjacent and then we just go like closed? Then you can see that nothing comes in for a while, and then it'll start overflowing here. It'll also overflow over there, which is, I don't know, not ideal, but doesn't really matter. But we want to flow it in here. Then the easiest thing would be to just explode a canal here, but I don't really have that much explosion, and I want to be able to go up here fast. So we just go like this until it starts overflowing. As you can see, it starts overflowing, and then it should be overflowing in here. Of course, we completely kill our power in the meantime. That's less of a concern. In the meantime, we also just, whenever possible, we just explode a little bit more of this area so that we can start sort of making it nice and neat and all that stuff here. There we go. What else do we have? Well, we have up here, we've built some, well, we haven't yet, but we are going to build some busts and some braziers that will also be helpful for just a little bit more happiness, which is super easy to make. Last thing we want to do is, well, if this wasn't drying out, it's drying out now, but it shouldn't be drying out once we have filled up this reservoir. This reservoir will contain a lot of water, and once it's full, then we'll just open this one again. And we just don't want anything to dry out. But we want this to be full of water because that also just spreads some happiness around it. And yeah, I guess that's just what we want. But then we can use this area for a little bit of farmland. And that's going to be, what is the one thing we want for farmland? We can put a little farmer location up here. It's a little bit sad to build it next to that this power thing. But we could also make it, you know, we could make it here. That's a completely silly place, but why not? Ah, not great. I'll make it up here and I'll regret it later. So why do I want to make this? I want to make this for corn. Corn is the next one we want. And corn is... Where's corn? That's here. And let's make it that little place. It's actually not really necessary, need that much space for corn, but then it should be fine. And I can then take you up here. And that'll be a logical next round. And actually I want to limit this. Oh, and I also have a feeling that this one is now filled up, hasn't it? Yes, it has. So we need to open again, just to keep it completely open. There we go. And that should be happy. Ooh, maybe we should limit the flow. Close above what downstream is depth. Let's go a little bit higher. There we go. So that works again. Great. And we can make a little bit more corn. The corn is not going to work because we need a food factory to make it. That is over here. Food factory is another thing that we want. And that is another thing that requires some power. So we can build it. Here is probably a fine location. Yeah. And food factory. Yes, food factory. And this one will food factory be corn. That should be pretty efficient as well. And we have the first tubeway completed. Excellent. So this tubeway is just bringing it up, and you can see how much faster it is than they go up here. The funny thing is how they don't always go the same way back. That's probably because they need to pick up some explosives, and we don't have that everywhere. Here, this one is waiting for materials. That one can be exploded. There we go. And this one's waiting for materials because I just want to make sure that we just get all these sort of as far down as possible, so we can make these pumps. Right. Right, and over here I'm also making this location because this will be pointed over another round over here and making an efficient mine later on. But we are kind of running out here, but that's going to be the next thing. And we also have our food factories going. We have our corn is coming up, and we have these two up here. So this will be a much safer and better way of getting water. We have these two here, but we're going to get another couple of those. Can we get the big one now? We could get the big one if you really want to. 600? Yeah, sure. Let's go crazy on this, because that's really nice to have, like this one up here. Just go like, yep, this is a lot of water for a long drought or a bad water season that might come up at some point. So this means that where we are now is that we're actually going to be focused very much on working towards preventing the bad water. What we already have is we have this one, and we have an overflow over. Well, we technically have an overflow, so right now we can prevent the bad water. So if the bad water comes in, we can prevent it. But there is a better way to prevent it, which we'll be looking at, and that is breaking down this point and making a sluice across here and here, so that it automatically filters the bad water out here and the normal water that way. We can do similar things over on the other side, all the way up here, by breaking these ones down and then making sluice and sluice. But again, like really a long way to go. If we break this pond down though, then we lose the ability to pick up the bad water over here, which we really want to have. Although we have a lot of bad water right now. Maybe we don't even want the second bad water going at this point. All right, so I think this is sort of the end of the metal phase. We got power, the big wheels. We got the scrap, the smelter, the power, the big wheels, and the number cruncher. Then tubeways. We got corn going as well. So in the next episode, we'll focus on preventing the bad water from coming in, which should be coming around like cycle 10, 9 or 10 or something along the line. So that will be a good next step to work on. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series and the structure we put into it. And I will be seeing you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care and stay effective.